Hey guys, today we are going to be using a brand new material that we haven't ever used before, and we are going to be doing something called paper mache. So paper mache is a combination of a couple materials, but basically what it is it's pieces of newspaper, like little strips of newspaper or paper towel that are dipped into like a gluey water mixture, and then it is placed over top of something like a form. Today we're going to be doing paper mache masks, but sometimes people use balloons, and you can like put paper mache around a balloon, and then when the balloon pops, it still stays in that shape. You could also do it over plastic bottles or things like that. So for today, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna be teaching how to paper mache a mask. Masks are used for all different kinds of things. We can use masks for costumes, obviously. Some cultures use masks as decoration. Some people in different cultures use masks as like for celebrations and things like that. So masks have been around for a very long time, and it's super fun to make them. So today I'm going to show you how to do a paper mache mask using this mold. So the first things that you will need a couple of pieces of paper towel. You will need a mask mold. You will need some newspaper pieces. You will need a bucket to put your glue in, and then you will need the water glue mixture, which I will have sitting out somewhere for you. So the first thing you're going to do is set up some paper towels for underneath your mask, because this is messy, okay? And then I'm gonna get a pencil because I need to write my name on my paper towel. So I'll be right back. All right, I have my pencil. So I'm gonna write my name nice and big, and I'm writing it with pencil because if you do it with marker, when it gets wet, sometimes it like disappears. It's kind of crazy. Okay, with my newspaper, I need to rip it into small pieces. So this piece is way too big, okay? So I need to rip them into small sections, because the smaller it is, actually the better it lays on your mask, okay? So I'm gonna rip a couple of those. Then I'm going to pour a little bit of this glue water mixture into my bowl. So you don't need like a ton. Hopefully you can see that. Just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm gonna start doing it. So this is messy, your hands are gonna get messy. We're gonna try not to get the table totally messy. All right, so I'm gonna take my strip, one strip of newspaper, and I'm going to dunk it all the way under. So I need to make sure that whole thing is covered. And then I'm gonna take some scissor fingers, I like to call them, and I'm going to scrape the extra off into the bucket so it's not dripping all over, okay? And then I'm going to gently smooth it out onto my mask. And I'm basically gonna do that a lot of times until I cover the whole thing. I wanna make sure I get along the edges. Some students forget that part, along here, okay? So I'm gonna do that. So I like to say dunk, scissor, stick, okay? I like to dunk it, scrape off the extra, and then stick it. Now, we can talk about eye holes later, but for now, I would say you should just go right over the eyes. You wanna cover everything. Sometimes you need to turn your mask this way so that you can see what you missed. So like I can see I missed this part here. And you basically wanna cover your whole thing up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now in super speed motion. So my mask is completely covered. I just did one layer. So what I need to do is I need to do probably 2 layers of newspaper. And the reason why is because that's gonna make it stronger. If I just do 1 layer of newspaper, it's just gonna be that thick. It's only gonna be the thickness of 1 layer of newspaper, and we know that newspaper is not very thick. So I'm gonna do another layer of newspaper, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some paper towel and I'm gonna rip it up, and I'm gonna do the top layer with paper towel. So that means I'll have 2 layers of newspaper, and then on the very top, a layer of paper towel. That's gonna give me a really, really good brown color surface without all these words and colors and numbers on it, because when I'm done, I'm gonna paint my mask to make it look cool. So the last step is the paper towel, so watch for that in this video. Okay, I covered everything with 2 layers of newspaper and a layer of paper towel, and you can see that my mask is looking brown all over. And what I did is I made sure to push and smooth out the newspaper all over, okay? Because if I don't smooth it out and there's paper sticking up, then it's gonna stay that way. It doesn't like smooth out by itself overnight. This is the end of the first part. I have to let this dry now, okay? So I'm gonna clean up my space. Now look, I have my Mrs. Campbell paper towel. I'm gonna put this in a place to keep it safe. And then I'm gonna save my leftover glue water mixture. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gently pinch my bucket to make kind of like a little funnel. And I'm going to very slowly and carefully pour that back in so that I can still use it and we don't waste it. We don't want to pour this down the sink, okay? But I should maybe rinse this out because now it's got glue in it. All right, stay tuned for the second part.